Good afternoon and welcome back, everybody. This is Jacob Palmer with Palmer Electrical. So today I'm giving you a tour of my main tool bag and everyday use tools. I'm a residential electrician. I do a lot of service work. I'm in and out of customers' homes mostly. I don't do a ton of commercial work. This is my main tool bag. It's a Veto Pro Pack Tech-MCT Blackout. I've had it for about a year and a half now. It's treated me really well. None of the seams have any visible damage. I really beat on this bag. It gets thrown around in and out of the truck. This bag is where I keep my most commonly used hand tools, my multimeter, and all the other bits and pieces that I need to keep me going as a residential electrician. I'll also be telling you a little bit about this leg strap tool holster that I put together, as well as a few details of other small things that just make life easier. So this is how everything usually is in the truck. I use the Milwaukee pack-out system. I keep most of my tools in a pack-out system. This crate stays right in the back of the truck inside the back door. I make sure that it stays readily accessible. Of course, these are my most important tools that I need at a moment's notice, and I use everything in this almost every single day. So this is how everything is. Inside this pack-out crate, I keep my Milwaukee Fuel M18 impact driver. This is the Generation 3 model, I believe. This is one generation behind what's current. I keep the Milwaukee bit holder right here. I find it to be really solid. I don't really have a problem with bits falling out. I keep a Phillips number 2 as well as a Klein Tools flip socket right here so that they're always with the tool. With those two bits alone, I can get probably 80% of my work done. Every once in a while, I will have a problem where the trigger will, it'll just be unresponsive for a minute. Usually all it takes is to take the battery out and put it back in, but that only happens every once in a blue moon. I'm probably going to be picking up a new one soon just because this one is starting to show its age. But this is just one of the items that stays in this crate. Also in this crate, I keep my main claw hammer. I use an Estwing 16 ounce, just regular claw hammer, nothing special. So you can see it gets abused, and I paint it every once in a while to give it a nice shine because a hammer is just generally an ugly tool. So if I'm somewhere where I want to impress somebody, I'll put a coat of paint on it so that my hammer looks nice and new. And the next and final thing that stays in this crate is the bag itself. This crate is also useful for carrying around material. If I'm just changing out some receptacles or redevicing or anything, this crate will go around with me. I use it as a material storage and sometimes even as a trash can if I need to. I also make sure to paint it up and mark it very well so that it's super unique, just so that it'll never have the problem of losing it or it walking away one day. So now we're down to just the bare tool bag, but first I'm going to tell you a little bit about my leg holster. So I put this together to hold my Knipex forged wire strippers, as well as my Wera craft form compact extendable screwdriver. This is the model that has the bit storage inside. Usually I keep the Phillips 2 bit in the bit holder here. In the handle, I keep a 6.5 millimeter flathead driver. I keep a number 2 square driver. I keep one of these small flathead drivers in here. I keep a Phillips number 3 bit, as well as one of these Milwaukee ECX bits. I really like using these ECX bits. They're made to fit in these screw holes on common receptacles. Don't worry about that. And I love this bit holder here because you can remove it from the driver, and I can put this and any one of those bits that I keep in there in my impact driver. I use that feature all the time. It's really handy to have all of those bits available with your driver. So another detail with my impact driver is that I keep one of these Kydex plastic belt holsters on my belt all the time. I keep one of these black plastic This is a lifesaver that I just got off of Amazon. It's a steel hook for the hook on your impact driver. When you take this hook right here and hook it on your belt all day, it just eats up the edge of your belt. So I use this and it just snaps right onto my belt. And then I take my driver and it hooks right on there. And it's really sturdy and strong, and it saves these belts. This also gets used with my M18 drill as well as my M12 cable stapler. They all hook right onto this, and it's really handy to carry them around. It saves your back too. So moving on, in the leg holster, I also keep a 6-inch, 1/4-inch hex extension, also for use with my impact driver. And finally, my utility knife stays right here in this little pocket. I use the Milwaukee Fastback 48-22-1505. I love this knife specifically. It's always had a really smooth action. I love the extra blade storage in the handle there, as well as the bit driver. The bit driver doesn't get used all that often, but it's handy when you need it. Most often this gets used as a pry bar. You can see that it's had some good wear. I carved my name into the handle there. And that stays right here in the leg holster. This leg holster stays on my leg all day long. So it's on my leg from whenever I get dressed in the morning till whenever I get home. It is pretty much the center of my workflow. I'm reaching these tools in and out of here all day long. These pliers especially are a workhorse. And the holster itself is just made from parts that I got on Amazon. This was a leather 2-pouch holster. It was just from a no-name brand on Amazon, and I was skeptical at first. The reviews said that it was very thick and stout, and I was pleasantly surprised to see that it is. It's really held up well. It's been in service probably close to 2 years now. The holster is a holster designed to carry a firearm, so it has been a good solution. It's held up well to the abuse, and it supports the weight of these tools pretty easily. The top strap goes through my belt, and then it has 2 straps that go around your legs. I get comments on it sometimes about how it looks pretty big and bulky, but I really don't mind it, and it helps me get my work done quick. Okay, so we're gonna move on to the main tool bag. This is a Veto Pro Pack Tech-MCT Blackout. I chose this bag in particular for a few reasons. I like the Blackout specifically because it has this rigid handle here that's kind of on the axle on the top. The regular Tech-MCT just has the fabric leather handle, which I have no doubt is very sturdy, but I like the look of this and I like the feel of it. It makes it feel really industrial and heavy. So I don't really keep much on the outside of this. I know a lot of people do. This bag rolls around and tumbles. I knew that I wanted something that zipped all the way up and tools won't fall out or get too rearranged within the bag. I keep this Black Diamond heavy-duty climbing carabiner on the outside. I use this if I have to hang up this bag somewhere, or if I have to attach something else to this bag for whatever reason, if I want to make sure I don't lose it, or if I need to tether this bag if I'm working up high and I need to carry my bag with me. On the other side, I keep my tape loop. I am a residential guy, so these are really the only ones I need. I keep a roll of black tape in my shirt pocket so that I always have it with me. And then extras are on the truck. Unless you're looking closely, this bag looks the same from both sides. So I attached these paracord colored straps so that I know which side is which. The red side is where I keep my primary hand tools. This is where I am in and out of most often. So inside here, we'll start with the flap side. I don't use this flap very often. The front, I don't keep anything in. And then this is just where I keep an extra plug tester and a tick tester that just don't really get used all that often. On the inside, starting from the top, I keep a 5/16 and 1/4-inch magnetic nut driver from Klein Tools. On the left, I have a Klein Tools magnetic torpedo level. This is the light up one. These batteries have lasted a long time. Had this tool for 2.5 years now. Hasn't ran out. Over here, I keep my beater drivers. I have this Milwaukee demo driver. I like the big steel cap on the end. It's hard to miss. I also keep a Phillips. This is a Doyle Phillips beater driver from Harbor Freight. Does the same job, just useful to have a thin punch sometimes. On the right side here, I have a Weha insulated lineman pliers. The teeth on these are really gnarly. I really don't think insulated pliers are necessary for what I do. I like them because they look cool and they're a lot more comfortable to use. This is kind of my beater pair of lineman pliers. I also keep this Knipex pair of lineman pliers with the crimping tool. I don't like to beat on these. These are expensive and I think they look really nice. So I use these for clean jobs. I use these for dirty jobs. My main screwdrivers are right here. There's only 3 of them. I have one Wera insulated number 2 square driver, one Wera insulated 5.5 millimeter laser tip flathead, and lastly, a Wera insulated number 2 Phillips driver, also with the laser tip. These 3 screwdrivers and the screwdriver in my holster get 90% of my work done. If I need any other bits, they're all on the truck and I can just pop them right into my Wera driver here. Moving on, these are the Klein Tools, about 7-inch, 5/16 and 1/4-inch nut drivers. I keep 2 pair of Knipex Cobra, one 7.5-inch and one 10-inch model. I also keep 1 pair of the 7-inch or 7.5-inch Knipex. I also keep a pair of Knipex 7.5-inch pliers wrench. These are the Comfort Grip with the the darker finish on them. These are a joy to use. I love how wide they open. Next are the needle nose. This is the Knipex 8-inch needle nose with the wire cutter. These have been pretty badly abused. These will be replaced sometime soon. This is a pair of Weha side cutters, also the insulated kind, really comfortable to use and lots of leverage. Down here I keep a Klein Tools precision flip driver. Really comes in handy. And finally, Klein Tools nested Allen keys. I also keep a full set of Wera metric and standard Allen keys on the truck. That's it for this side. Let's turn it around and I will show you the other side. On this side, this is the yellow handle side, are some support tools and other little pieces that get used pretty frequently that I like to have with me. Again, starting in the flap, I don't keep anything up front. I find these pockets a little bit too small to use. You can keep bits and stuff in there, but most of my bits already have a home elsewhere in my setup. In the front pocket, I keep a couple of these Milwaukee 1/4-inch hex drive drill bits. I also have a set of the Klein Tools 1/4-inch hex drive drill tap bits. There's pretty much all the sizes that I need here. I don't use the big ones as often. In the back portion here, I keep a couple of small bits of Romex. This is handy if I just need to make a quick ground pigtail and I don't have to walk back to the truck, or if I need to use a piece of wire out of this to poke through a wall and feel around. It's always handy to have a little bit of this around. I also keep a cutoff piece of number 10 wire for the same reason. In the middle here, I have an Empire 12-inch level. It's also magnetic. I picked this one up at Home Depot in the checkout aisle one day, and it's nice to have this nice big straight edged for marking out lines. On the left here, I keep a Milwaukee folding rule. I like the Milwaukee one specifically because it counts up all the way in inches. The Lufkin version of the folding rule counts it out with feet and inches, so you can't tell at a glance how many inches. It just helps to make the math easier when you're measuring and marking. I'm unique in that I don't really carry around a tape measure in my main tool bag. I have several tape measures on the truck and I use them all the time, but I only grab them as necessary. They are kept near this bag in the back of the truck. I might do a truck tour video in the future. But this is really handy. I like that it has the ability to stand out straight. Next up, I keep one of these Racketeers Staple Sharks. It's a good pry bar and it makes working in old houses with those. It makes working in old houses easier. Those old houses where those staples have been in that wood for 80 years and they don't come out in one piece unless you're using something like this. Next up in the